KHM crew. We don't have our crew here, but we are the crew. We're gonna race dirt bikes and be our own crew.
That's right.
Of course, with the assistance of our beautiful blonde-haired girlfriends.
That's right. We're looking forward to a really fun day tomorrow, and doing a little bit of last-minute prep now, and gonna get to tech and sign some foreheads and kiss babies, and it's just gonna be a great day. Sun's out, guns out, and we're having a good time down here in Sonata.
Part?
Second contingency, I like it.
Colton!
Cameraman!
So we're back at the finish. It's been a medium day, not too long, not too short. My ride, I started this morning. Derek's on the bike. I rode start to race mile 200 in like 45, where we did a service, and Derek's now on the bike. He's practically bringing it home. We've had a fairly clean day. It was a little rough for me this morning. I dealt with a lot of dust, and so I had to be very, very patient, but I respected Mexico, and it treated me well, and I had a great ride, and it finally feels like I'm kind of back to the old Colton. I can pin it when I want to, and my legs are holding up, and my back feels good, and I've got Hammer Nutrition, which is actually a really important added benefit to my program, and I'm really proud to have their support. So both Derek and I are using Hammer Nutrition, and it's changed my whole outlook since our last race, and made me quite a bit better of a racer. So yeah, we'll see how Derek comes in. Hopefully he'll have a nice 4 or 5 minute cushion, and we'll be celebrating.
And I believe Colton Udall did start the race,
Yes,
so
he did.
this is going to be Derek Ossenbauer, the man with the plan that put it together right here as he comes up to the top of the ramp. We'll get a few words from him. Our first bike coming across the line. You guys see right there coming into frame. It doesn't matter, everybody watching at home, this is your race. Coming in right here. Look and dial. We got Colton up here too, but we'll let Derek get his helmet off here. He just definitely did work. And we saw that if you guys were watching on track, and we saw him just moving out on that 22X bike.
Yeah, boy!
Shane Redline. He's got the flag up here. He's got champagne coming his way.
We don't know yet.
Some bad boys. Yeah, you guys right now unofficially champions here, maintaining your points lead going into round number 4.
What's up, guys? Colton Udall here, back with the Baja 400 race cap video. I wanted to share my experience and Derek Alsterbauer's experience with our 2021 Baja 400. So I'll just get right to it. This race was actually kind of something we were struggling to get to, and we certainly want to thank McDuff Daniels and Baja Bound Insurance for getting us down there. It wouldn't have happened without their help. So along with their help, Derek Osterbauer built the race bike, which is really cool of him. It's the first time I've really let somebody else build the race bike and go down there and pin the motorcycle and trust someone else. So normally I'm doing the building, and really proud of Derek for getting the bike done, and the bike worked really well. So to start off, basically Derek and I went down without pre-run drivers in our own vans and split up on our own sections, and we just made a strategy where we'd race pretty much 400 miles with 2 guys, and I ended up racing around 245 miles, and Derek rode into the finish, which would have made him ride like maybe 155 to 160 miles. So I had my hands full. I haven't ridden 245 miles in a long time, and so when we went down by ourselves, we were basically camping out of our vans. We didn't stay in hotels, and well, Derek had a place to stay, but I camped outside of Valle de Trinidad in my Sprinter, and it was one of the most wonderful and gratifying experiences I've ever had, pre-running and experiencing Mexico. And so I'm really stoked it actually went down that way. I was able to get a bunch of time on the race course and learn the sections and get really strong, and as you guys saw basically in the race, it proved to be that. So to get right into racing, we started 5th off the line, and I obviously started the bike, and I worked really hard in the morning to get past Caden Guard on the 97X bike. There was a lot of dust, and outbound race course was quite silty, so there was very limited vision, and it felt like I had been kind of going like this certain slow pace, so to say, in the dust. And then finally I got past Caden while he was pitting at Baja Pits, and then I had a little clear stretch of air, and it almost felt like, oh, okay, we're back to Baja racing. It was wide open speeds, and I quickly hunted down the 30X bike, which was a younger kid was super cool. He came up at the start line and said hello to me, and I eventually worked my way past him around like race mile 65 or 60-ish, and then from there it was clear air to the 22X bike. But they had opened up about a minute on adjusted time, so the split was around 4 minutes for quite a while there, from like maybe race mile 75 to race mile 200, or within that range. So I put my head down and raced super hard to try to catch the 22X bike, and eventually just kept biting off a little bit of time, and nothing happened very fast, that's for sure, but except obviously the racing, and everything went super clean for myself. And towards the end of my section, I could see the rider in front of me, who was Brandon Prieto, that he started to make a few mistakes, and I figured, man, he's probably getting tired, so I'm going to keep pushing harder and see if I can't close the gap. When I got into the Baja pit at race mile 200, a guy had come up, actually Andy Kirker, and he's like, that's 22X behind you. And I was like, I turned around, I was like, whoa, like what? I didn't even realize that I was actually making the pass for the lead. And so as it happened, I basically, they got done with the service, so I took advantage of them changing a rear wheel and kind of an air filter and prepping their bike, and I was able to make a pass in the pits. And or while they were pitting, I only got fuel. So, and our strategy was to change our tire where we changed riders, which was at race mile 245 down near Colonet with Derek. So when I got past them, it was like kind of a breath of fresh air. We were leading the race now, and it was time to settle into a nice, comfortable pace and see if we can't pull out a little bit more time. The race course was kind of new after that. Maybe 15 miles or so that was quite technical into basically the crossover road where our teammate Nick Garvin, who had crashed into a side-by-side, had a head-on basically, and it was kind of a nerve-wracking little section because I really love that road. I really love pitching it sideways and going really fast on it, but after that impact, it's just kind of been an issue in everyone's minds at the Baja 500. So fortunately, Score had a helicopter above the lead bike, myself, and it felt it was very comfortable going over it, and I was able to go as fast as I could, and I was able to open up a smaller gap, maybe 4 minutes or so, 4.5 minutes. Brought the bike into Derek at race mile 245 after a long highway section. We changed the rear wheel and the air filter, made some suspension adjustments, and Derek got on the bike and took off. Shortly after, the 22X bike came through. It was like 2.5 minute split around that time, and it was I was done racing, and I was really stoked with my section. I can proudly say that was probably one of my best rides since maybe middle of 2016, since I broke my back, and I'm really stoked to be on kind of that level again and be charging with some fitness and the help of Hammer Nutrition. I basically just had their support. They jumped on board and provided me with a bunch of product for the Baja 500, and it absolutely helped me 100% without a doubt to focus for the amount of time that I was on the bike. 245 miles took around 5 hours and 11 minutes. So that's how long I was focusing at race pace, and the whole time I was drinking Hammer Nutrition, and the Hammer product did a really good job to help me think clearly and have enough energy to get through the 5-hour workout. So really thankful for Hammer Nutrition. Back to Derek. Derek got on the bike, who's also taking Hammer, and Derek rode a really solid race. Had really no issues, just kept the bike moving as strong as possible, and throughout our little pits we were giving him time splits, and he had opened up a little bit more time on the competition 22X, got it up to like around a 4-mile split, which usually is somewhere around 4 to 5 minutes, and ended up sailing it back in and into the finish, and we were the winners. It was really gratifying and really awesome. So at the finish line, we were super stoked to win the race, and it was really nice to basically come home with a win at the Baja 400 and know that we were going to start first off the line at the Baja 1000, and just put together our effort that was really just kind of minuscule with not a lot of money, and be successful at it. So the help we had was basically from our girlfriends, our significant others, and then Mike Garvin and Mike Pattison were driving the vans, and basically that was it. We used Baja pits for our support, which will absolutely need way more support coming into the Baja 1000, which is a hint for you guys to know that we are going to continue racing at the Baja 1000. So we're really stoked, and that's it. We won the race, and everything was all good, and we're really stoked. And Saturday night came along, and we drove home, and we woke up Sunday morning, and some terrible news basically hit us. And unfortunately, it was like, just it's never cool, you know. So you see the results, and it says that the class 22 is under, you know, the race director, it's under a decision, and we're like, what the heck? So you have to start digging, and I'm just telling you my experience. This is exactly what happened, and so I have to start digging. And then so what I did is I basically reached out to Jose G, who's the race director for Score, and I said, what is this? And I, you know, how come these results aren't solid? And like, what is the problem? And he quickly sent me a video of my van turning around on the race course after our pit number 2, and coming into a little slowdown or an interaction where my van was pretty much blocking 75% of the race course. I'm not being biased, that's how I feel. It was 75% of the race course at race mile, roughly around like race mile 68 or 70 at pit number 2. And that's right, it was in a 37 mile an hour speed zone. And so this is what the video showed. That's what happened. And so what went down is I later found out that some riders from the 22X bike sent the video in and sent, it's basically, in my opinion, an illegal protest, because technically protests need to come from the rider of record. And so these kids, their name, they were gonna, send the video in as a protest. And 97X had nothing to do with it, even though they were the guys that had a lot to do with it. They were the guys that were on the bike. Now, a little backstory, the 22X team actually kind of threw us a curveball, threw my chase crew a curveball. My wife and Mike Pattison told them that you can't pit on the left side, and my crew is a little green at what they're doing in chasing. I don't have the guy who I'm usually racing with, Tom Jones, who's got 27 years experience. He would have never listened to the 22X team, but unfortunately things happen, and we were all friends. And so my wife and Mike Pattison made a decision to move the van just down the road and then pit on the right side, because the 22X guys said that if, we're not supposed to pit on the left side. Now, I advise my team not to do that, but it is what it is, and actions happen like that. So the van turned around, and essentially they turned around on the race course, did not travel the whole length back to the highway. They actually did a full loop, almost like a 360 back over the highway after the interaction. And it was simply just timing if you look at the video. So the driver pulled out, didn't see anyone, and then 37 miles an hour came 97X, and the interaction happened. Now, we won the race. This video came out. It was sent Saturday night. Sunday morning, I have to basically stress and work on trying to clear this issue up. So I reach out to the race director. We're working. He's talking about how he's going to only DQ us for this action because of the protest. He never mentions anything about a 10-minute penalty. And so I'm working diligently to talk to 97X and 22X, the rider of record, which is Shane Redline. And I also worked with Chris Phillips to try to work on getting the protest turned around. Both Shane and Chris on the 22X bike both believe that the protest was nonsense, and they gladly sent in, along with 97X, Jason Alosi, sent in basically a withdrawal from protest, which is what Jose G requested of me as I was talking to him on Sunday. So basically that all went down. At 4:30, Jose G wrote me a message and said we'd be all clear, and he was going to push the results out as all good, we won. And then at 6:30, the results came out, and all of a sudden we had a 10-minute penalty. We had lost the race by 20 seconds. And that was never on the table on Sunday, and that's what's really unfortunate about the whole thing. That's my story. I'm putting it out so everyone knows. Anyone who wants to hate on us because they think we're deliberately blocking, it was an honest mistake. Our race bike went down the race course perfectly. We raced exactly how we know how to do. It's really hurt our feelings, but we're going to show up at the Baja 1000, and it's going to be an honest, best case scenario. We're going to make sure our pit crews make zero mistakes, and we're going to put a hurting on the riders that decided that they wanted to kind of play the weak game. Now, I have been in a situation like this before, and it's really unfortunate that Baja Racing even has to go this way. It's unfortunate that we have to do this. So we're still in the points. Derek Osterbauer's probably, I think, maybe 4 points back, and it'll be basically, you know, the winner of the 1,000 wins the championship. And I guess it's good for the series, and it's good for, you know, the people watching to stay glued in and see who's going to be the champ at the end of the 2021 year. Now, we do have what I think will be real competition showing up, and we're going to train our butts off to be ready for the real competition, which is the SLR team. So come the Baja 1000, we're going to be ready. Derek and I are training, and it'll be go time. So stay tuned for more information, and thanks for watching.